Arianna Huffington didn't burn out because she was weak. She burned out because her version of success was built to break her. If you're successful, capable, and secretly afraid that growing more will cost you your health or your soul, this is for you. Because in this video, I'll show you the exact moment Arianna's success turned on her, what Arianna Huffington did differently that ended up saving her life, and the simple system to keep your ambition while protecting your energy, health, and sanity. I know this because I've helped entrepreneurs prevent the exact mistakes that she was making and make changes in their business that allowed them the results they wanted without losing their health or sanity. What was business like? What was life like before we started working together?
Business was incredibly stressful and life was really non-existent.
And yes, you can apply this even if you're always on and you can't even take a day off. In fact, you're the one who needs this the most. But first, I need you to answer one uncomfortable question. What if the thing you're chasing is not actually success, but a socially approved way to self-destruct? You see, most people are completely wrong about why Arianna Huffington collapsed in 2007. But what I'm about to share with you will let you uncover the real reason. In 2005, in Turkey, a sheep jumped off a cliff. But what followed will shock you. 1,500 other sheep instinctively followed the first sheep and jumped off that same cliff. Around 450 of them died on impact, but the remaining thousands survived by landing on the soft, woolly pile of dead sheep. That's exactly what most soul-led entrepreneurs are doing. Not because they're reckless, but because no one showed them another way. Same thing happened with Arianna Huffington. She saw 18-hour workdays, constant emails, and ignoring fatigue as the price for success. She had accepted the cultural norm of glorifying exhaustion without taking a moment to question it. And before she knew it, she was falling to her death. Literally. She collapsed from exhaustion, hit her head on the furniture, and woke up hours later in a pool of her own blood. You see, most entrepreneurs are secretly afraid of growth. They're under a lot of stress and pressure already. So in their minds, growth will mean more stress and more pressure. But only after you let go of what society tells you will things change. Arianna was one of the lucky sheep who didn't actually die from the fall. But what she did next surprised even the people closest to her. And it led to boosting Huffington Post's growth to a $315 million acquisition. Take this with a grain of salt because this isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. However, the system I'm about to share with you will allow you to find the perfect next steps for your specific situation. But let's take some inspiration from Arianna. She didn't close down the business and get a job like my dad wanted to do. She didn't self-sabotage. She didn't shrink and spend hours in her car mustering up the courage to go in the office again. Instead, she introduced a 7-hour sleep minimum, morning meditation, tech-free zones to interrupt stress cycles. At Huffington Post, these became company policies. No after-hour emails, wellness programs, and micro-interventions like 60, 90-second breathing breaks embedded in workflows. In other words, she made wellness the prerequisite to wealth. And it worked. However, what worked for her will not always work for you. Here's what will. This 3-step system will in fact allow you to find the right next steps for you no matter what level you're at in business. To better understand this, let me share with you how Jessica made the shift from hustle to healthy success. Jessica was making good money, but she hated her business because her business felt heavier than it needed to be. To change that and help her make the shift to a more elegant business model, we had to answer 3 key questions from what I call the Warrior Shaman business system. The Shaman system looks at how beliefs shape reality. I first started asking myself this question after I experienced a dramatic change. Every time I made it a priority to work on my mindset and belief system, I attracted the biggest opportunities. But every time I put it to the side and focused strictly on work, my business suffered. So ask yourself, what do I believe to be true about business and success that are making life harder than it needs to be. The warrior system gives you the confidence to create bigger results with less effort. I learned this mindset back when I learned Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch. It's a technique that teaches you how to create tremendous force with minimal effort. You do that by mastering leverage points in your body. So how could you replace effort with leverage so that you can produce bigger outcomes with less resources? The third one came to me after a decade of studying the most successful people on the planet. I noticed a pattern. The top 1% are not stuck in operations. They rarely get hands-on and prefer to act more like overseers, and that is their superpower. I call this the business owner identity. This identity teaches you to be the observer and see the opportunities that most people miss. So step back, see the bigger picture, and ask yourself, what systems could I buy or build that save time and increase efficiency? You see, Arianna wasn't burnt out or overworked. She was too entangled in her own business. Every decision needed to go through her, and that's why she was always on, even in her time off. But this is the result of seeing your business through the wrong lens, just like my father did. He saw his business as his baby, and that's exactly what led to his downfall. However, the very few entrepreneurs who reframe their business correctly are the ones who enjoy real freedom and sell their business for hundreds of millions of dollars if they choose to, while those who don't deal with exhaustion, self-sabotage, and stalled growth. Because in their case, more growth equals more stress and more pressure. If your business feels heavier than it should, watch this video next. It will give you the exact reframe that saved my father's business, and it will show you how to step back without guilt and without things breaking.